Hello students, today we will discuss case 3 of Frobenius method, that is roots differing by an integer. So suppose R1 and R2 are two roots obtained from the initial equation. So difference of two roots is an integer. Therefore R1 minus R2 is equal to an integer, where suppose R1 is less than R2. Okay. So in this case there are two possibilities. First possibility, if one of the coefficients become infinite for the smaller initial root, that is r is equal to r1. So suppose we are getting one of the coefficient infinite for this root, then the procedure is modified by putting a0 is equal to c0 in bracket r minus r1, where c0 is not equal to 0. Okay. So first solution is obtained by y1 is equal to y, where r is equal to r1, and second solution is obtained by y2 is equal to del y by del r, where r is equal to r1. So the solution corresponding to the second initial root is usually a multiple of first solution. So here second solution is usually multiple of first solution, or it is a part of this del y by del r, where r is equal to r1. So we can say second solution produces linearly dependent solution. Okay. So final the general solution is given by y is equal to c1y1 plus c2y2. So it will be c1y, where r is equal to r1, plus c2 del y by del r, where r is equal to r1. Now let us discuss example related to this. First example, find the series solution of differential equation x square minus x y double dash minus xy dash plus y is equal to 0 about x0 equal to 0. So here first of all, comparing the given equation with p0xy double dash plus p1xy dash plus p2xy equal to 0, we will get p0x is equal to x square minus x. Okay. Now we have to check for this point x0 equal to 0. So putting x0 equal to 0, we will get p0x is equal to 0. Therefore x0 is equal to 0 is a singular point. Okay. Now we have to check whether x0 equal to 0 is a regular singular point or irregular singular point, because Frobenius method is applied for regular singular point. That's why we have to check whether this point is regular singular point or irregular singular point. For that, dividing the equation 1 by x square minus x, dividing the equation 1 by the coefficient of y double dash, so it will be y double dash minus x divided by x square minus x y dash plus 1 divided by x square minus x into y is equal to 0. Now comparing with the standard equation, we will get p of x is equal to minus x divided by x square minus x. Okay, because this is our standard equation, y double dash plus p of x y dash plus q of x y equal to 0. So p of x is minus x divided by x square minus x, and q of x is 1 divided by x square minus x. So if we simplify it, we will get minus 1 divided by x minus 1. Now we have to check these two, x minus x0 p of x and x minus x0 whole square q of x. So here we are checking for the point x0 equal to 0. So we will replace x0 by 0. So it will be x minus 0 into p of x. This is p of x. Okay. So if we simplify, we will get minus x divided by x minus 1. Now we are checking for the point x equal to 0. So we will put x equal to 0 here. So we will get answer 0. Okay. So now finding this x minus x0 whole square q of x, so here replacing x0 by 0, we will get x minus 0 whole square into q of x. What is q of x? This is q of x, 1 divided by x square minus x. So if we simplify it, we will get x square divided by x square minus x. Okay. Again simplifying, we will get x divided by x minus 1. Now we are checking for the point x equal to 0. So put x equal to 0 over here. So again we will get answer 0. So here both answers are finite. Therefore x0 equal to 0 is a regular singular point. Okay. Because if these two answers are defined for a particular point x0, okay, then that particular point x0 is called regular singular point. So we can say here both x minus x0 p of x and x minus x0 whole square q of x are defined at x0 equal to 0. Therefore x0 equal to 0 is regular singular point. Now let the series solution of equation 1 about x0 equal to 0 is given by y is equal to sigma n equal to 0 to infinite an x minus x0 whole raised to n plus r. Here we are checking the solution about x0 equal to 0. So replacing x0 by 0, we will get sigma n equal to 0 to infinite an x raised to n plus r. So if we simplify here, we will get x raised to r sigma an x raised to n, where n varies from 0 to infinite. Now expanding this by putting different values of n starting from 0. So if we put n equal to 0, we will get a0 x raised to 0. This will be our first term. Now put n equal to 1, so we will get second term, that is a1x. Now put n equal to 2, so we will get third term, that is a2x square, plus so on. So suppose this is equation number 2. Now differentiating with respect to x both side, here differentiating with respect to x, we will get y dash is equal to sigma n equal to 0 to infinite an. Differentiation of x raised to n plus r will be n plus r x raised to n plus r minus 1. Okay. Now again differentiating both side with respect to x, we will get y double dash is equal to sigma n equal to 0 to infinite an n plus r, and derivative of x raised to n plus r minus 1 will be n plus r minus 1 into x raised to n plus r minus 2. Now substituting these values in equation 1, that is given question, we will get x square minus x, here y double dash is this, okay, minus x y dash, this is the value of y dash, plus y, okay, so this is our y, equal to 0. So if we further simplify this, so here x square into this term, so x square into x raised to n plus r minus 2 will be x raised to n plus r. So here first term will be this, okay. Now again multiplying this term by x raised to 1, so it will be x raised to n plus r minus 2 plus 1, so it will be x raised to n plus r minus 1. So second term is this, okay. Now here x raised to 1 into x raised to n plus r minus 1, so it will be x raised to n plus r. So third term is this, and fourth term will be as it is, okay. Now observe first term, third term and fourth term. So here an x raised to n plus r is common from these three terms, okay. So an x raised to n plus r is common, so in bracket it will be n plus r minus 1, here minus n plus r plus 1, okay, and writing this term as it is. Now rearranging these two terms, writing this term first, then writing this term as a second. Here n plus r is common from these two, so it will be n plus r in one bracket, and in another bracket n plus r minus 1 minus 1, so it will be n plus r in bracket n plus r minus 2 plus 1 an x raised to n plus r. Now we have to obtain a common power of x in each term. So for that we will replace n by n plus 1 in the first term, okay, because if we replace n by n plus 1 in the first term, then we will obtain the common power of x, okay. So if we replace n by n plus 1 here, so it will be n plus 1 is equal to 0, so it will be n equal to minus 1. Therefore now sigma starts from n equal to minus 1 to infinite, okay. Here if we replace n by n plus 1, so it will be n plus r plus 1. Here if we replace n by n plus 1, so it will be n plus r. Here it will be a n plus 1 x raised to n plus r, and this term will be as it is. Now here sigma starts from n equal to 0, and here sigma starts from n equal to minus 1. We have to set such that these two start from same point, okay. So for that we will put n equal to minus 1 in this expression. So we will get minus r in bracket r minus 1 a0 x raised to r minus 1 if we put n equal to minus 1 in this, okay. Now series will start from n equal to 0. So now series will start from n equal to 0 to infinite, and this expression will be as it is. Here it is minus because here it is minus sign, okay, plus last term will be as it is, this last term will be as it is. Okay, so we can say that this expression can be written as this. Okay, now equating the coefficient of the lowest degree term to 0, we will get the indicial equation, because indicial equation can be obtained by equating the coefficients of lowest degree term to 0. Okay, because the right hand side of the equation is 0. So here lowest degree term is this. Okay, and coefficient will be minus r in bracket r minus 1 a0. So it will be minus r in bracket r minus 1 a0 is equal to 0. So we will get r equal to 0 and r equal to 1, because a0 is not equal to 0. So here if we take difference of these two roots, then it will be an integer. So this is example of case number 3. Okay, so for that, now equating the coefficient of x raised to n plus r to 0, we will get minus n plus r plus 1 n plus r an plus 1 plus in bracket n plus r minus 2 plus 1 an equal to 0, where n greater than equal to 0, because here sigma starts from n equal to 0. Okay, now making subject an plus 1, we will get this expression. Okay, now if we simplify, so here n plus r into n plus r, so it will be n plus r whole square minus 2 into n plus r plus 1 divided by n plus r plus 1. Okay, so here a square minus 2ab plus b square, so it is actually a identity a minus b whole square, so it will be n plus r minus 1 whole square divided by n plus r plus 1 an, where n greater than equal to 0. Now putting n equal to 0, 1 and so on. First of all, we will put n equal to 0 in this relation. We will get a1 equal to r minus 1 whole square divided by r into r plus 1 a0. If we put n equal to 1 in this expression, we will get a2 equal to r square divided by r plus 1 r plus 2 a1 and so on. Now at smaller indicial root, that is r equal to 0. So if we put r equal to 0, here we will get a1 equal to infinite. So if a1 is infinite, then a2 is also infinite, because if here a1 is infinite, then a2 is also infinite. Same way a3 is also infinite. So all are infinite. So here we are getting infinite answer for smaller indicial root. Therefore, for that, to obtain the solution of equation 1, the procedure is modified by assuming a0 is equal to c0 in bracket r minus r1. So what is r1? That is this first smaller indicial root. Okay, so it will be c0 r minus 0, so it will be c0 r, where c0 is not equal to 0. Here we have to modify the procedure because coefficients become infinite for smaller indicial root. That's why we have to modify the procedure by this. Okay, so now substituting a0 is equal to c0r in a1, a2, so on. So a1 is equal to r minus 1 whole square divided by r into r plus 1. Here we will replace a0 by c0r, so it will be c0r here. So r cancel out, so final it will be r minus 1 whole square divided by r plus 1 into c0. Same way finding a2, so we will get r square divided by r plus 1 r plus 2. Here value of a1, what is a1? This is our a1. Okay, so if we simplify it, we will get r square r minus 1 whole square divided by r plus 1 whole square r plus 2 c0 and so on. Now substituting in equation 2, we will get y equal to c0 x raised to r in bracket r plus r minus 1 whole square divided by r plus 1 into x plus r square into r minus 1 whole square divided by r plus 1 whole square r plus 2 x square plus so on. So here we have substituted value of a0, a1 and a2 in equation number 2. What is equation number 2? This is equation number 2. Okay, so by putting value of a0, a1 and a2 in equation number 2, we will get this. Now suppose this is equation number 3. So for the first solution, putting r equal to 0 in equation number 3, we will get y1 is equal to y where r is equal to 0. So here replace r by 0 in this equation. So we will get c0 in bracket 0 plus x plus 0, because here if we replace r by 0 then this term is 0. Okay, if we replace here r by 0 then it will be x into 1, so it is x. Here r is 0, so it will be 0, and all other terms will be 0 because they are terms containing r. Okay, so all other terms will be 0. So final first solution is c0x. Now for the second solution, putting r is equal to 1 in equation 3. Okay, so y2 is equal to y where r is equal to 1. So if we replace r by 1, we will get here c0x, because if we put r equal to 1 here, so we will get c0 into x. Here 1 plus 0 plus 0, so it will be c0 into x. So this is same as first solution, so which is equal to y1. So differentiating equation 3 with respect to r to obtain the second solution. Okay, that's why differentiating equation 3 with respect to r. Okay, so del y by del r is equal to c0, derivative of x raised to r is x raised to r into log x, because derivative of a raised to x is a raised to x into log a base e. Okay, so here derivative of x raised to r is x raised to r into log x. Now this bracket will be as it is, so this bracket will be as it is. Here plus terms containing higher powers of r in the numerator, because here these are the terms which contain higher power of r in the numerator. Okay, here we are using product rule. So now x raised to r will be constant, so here c0 x raised to r is constant. Now we will differentiate this bracket with respect to r, so we will get derivative of r is 1, so here it will be 1. Okay, derivative of r minus 1 whole square will be 2 into r minus 1, and x divided by r plus 1 is constant, because here again we have to use product rule. Okay, so here x divided by r plus 1 is constant. Now r minus 1 whole square is constant, so here r minus 1 whole square is constant. Now we will take derivative of 1 divided by r plus 1, so derivative of 1 divided by r plus 1 is minus 1 divided by r plus 1 whole square into x. Okay, plus terms containing higher powers of r in the numerator. Now for the second solution, we have to put r equal to 0, therefore y2 is equal to del y by del r where r is equal to 0. So replace r by 0 in this expression, we will get c0 log x in bracket 0 plus x plus 0, because this term will be 0, because in this term it will contain higher powers of r, so this will be 0, plus c0 in bracket 1 minus 2x minus x plus 0. So here c0 is common from these two, so we will get c0 in bracket x log x plus 1 minus 3x. This is second solution. So final general solution is given by y equal to c1 y1 plus c2 y2. So it will be c1, what is first solution, it is c0x, plus c2, what is second solution, it is c0 in bracket x log x plus 1 minus 3x. So here suppose c1 into c0 is a capital A, because these two are constant, and suppose c2 into c0 is a capital B. Okay, because these two are also constant, so it will be ax plus b in bracket x log x plus 1 minus 3x. Okay, now here x common from these two terms, so it will be a plus b log x into x plus b into 1 minus 3x. So this is our final answer of given question. Okay, so in this lecture we have discussed first possibility of case 3 of Frobenius method. Thank you for watching this video.